One, you have to know why you do what you do. If you don't know why you do what you do, how will anyone else? Two, you have to have discipline of how. You have to hold yourself and your people accountable to your values and your guiding principles. And thirdly, you have to have consistency of what? Everything you say and everything you do, everything must prove what you believe. At the end of the day, a why is just a belief. That's all it is. Hows are the actions we take to realize that belief, and what's the results of those actions? The things we say, the things we do, our products and services and marketing, etc.
Every single person, every single organization on the planet knows what they do, 100%. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. It's always a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Well, as a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. But the inspired leaders and the inspired organizations, regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Our new car, it gets great gas mileage, it has, leather seats, buy our car. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? You're ready to buy a computer from me. All I did was reverse the order of the information. What it proves to us is that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. This explains why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple.
Imagine, if you will, 3 concentric circles, a bullseye. In the middle is the word why, in the center ring is the word how, and the outside ring is the word what. It's this little idea that distinguishes those with the capacity to inspire versus everyone else. Let me define the terms really quickly, starting from the outside in. Every single organization on the planet knows what they do. These are the products you sell or the services you offer. Some know how they do it, whether you call it your differentiating value proposition or your USP or your proprietary process. It's the things that you think make you special or different or better than your competition. But very, very few people and very, very few organizations can clearly state why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make money. That's a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose, what's your cause, what's your belief? Why does your company exist? Why did you get out of bed this morning? And why should anyone care? As a result, the way we think, the way we act, the way we communicate is from the outside in. It's obvious. We go from the clearest thing to the fuzziest thing. We tell people what we do, we tell them how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior, a purchase, a vote, support. But not the inspired leaders, not the inspired organizations. Regardless of their size, regardless of their industry, every single one of them thinks, acts, and communicates from the inside out. They all start with why. And it starts to show us is that it's not what you do that matters, it's why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply serves as the tangible proof of what you believe. This is the reason why every single person in this room is perfectly comfortable buying a computer from Apple. We're perfectly comfortable with the idea that Apple makes MP3 players and phones and DVRs. Newsflash. Apple is just a company, that's all they are. It's a corporate structure. They have some good products and some bad ones. All of their competitors have equal and open access to the same resources, the same agencies, the same consultants, the same media, the same talent. It is a zero-sum game. Every single one of their competitors is equally qualified to make every product that Apple makes. And yet, how is it that this one company has an unbalanced amount of influence, an unbalanced ability to innovate, an unbalanced amount of profitability, an unbalanced amount of loyalty amongst their customers and in their employees? The difference is they haven't defined themselves by what they do, they've defined themselves by why they do it, and what they do simply serves the tangible proof of what they believe. Dell is a good company that makes good products and is every little bit qualified to make every product that Apple makes. A few years ago, they came out with PDAs and MP3 players, and nobody bought one. Why would we buy an MP3 player from a computer company? It doesn't make sense. But we do it every day. The difference is Dell has defined themselves by what they do, and Apple has defined themselves by why they exist.
If you look at a cross-section of the human brain from the top down, what you see is the human brain is actually broken into three major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle. Our newest brain, our Homo sapien brain, our neocortex, corresponds with the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brains, and our limbic brains are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. In other words, when we communicate from the outside in, yes, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features and benefits and facts and figures. It just doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. You know, sometimes you can give somebody all the facts and figures and you say, I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right. Why would we use that verb? It doesn't feel right. Because the part of the brain that controls decision making doesn't control language. And the best we can muster up is, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Or sometimes you say you're leading with your heart, or you're leading with your soul. Or I hate to break it to you, there aren't other body parts controlling your behavior. It's all happening here in your limbic brain, the part of the brain that controls decision making and not language. But if you don't know why you do what you do, and people respond to why you do what you do, then how will you ever get people to vote for you or buy something from you, or more importantly, be loyal? And nowhere else is there a better example of this than with the Wright brothers. Most people don't know about Samuel Pierpont Langley. And back in the early 20th century, the pursuit of powered man flight was like the dot-com of the day. Everybody was trying it. And Samuel Pierpont Langley had what we assume to be the recipe for success. I mean, even now, when you ask people, why did your product or why did your company fail? And people always give you the same permutation of the same three things. Undercapitalized, the wrong people, bad market conditions. It's always the same three things. So let's explore that. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 by the War Department to figure out this flying machine. Money was no problem. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian and was extremely well connected. He knew all the big minds of the day. He hired the best minds money could find, and the market conditions were fantastic. The New York Times followed him around everywhere, and everyone was rooting for Langley. And how come we've never heard of Samuel Pierpont Langley? A few hundred miles away in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright. They had none of what we consider to be the recipe for success. They had no money. They paid for their dream with the proceeds from their bicycle shop. Not a single person on the Wright brothers' team had a college education, not even Orville or Wilbur. And the New York Times followed them around everywhere. The difference was Orville and Wilbur were driven by a cause, by a purpose, by a belief. They believed that if they could figure out this flying machine, it would change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He wanted to be rich, and he wanted to be famous. He was in pursuit of the result. He was in pursuit of the riches.